Leslie Headland, Kathleen Kennedy, Amandla, and the Acolyte have thrashed and trashed Star Wars. Now many wonder, can it ever come back? Or was the Acolyte indeed the last Straw Wars for so many fans? Today we're jumping into whether or not this is a galaxy far, far away from saving, or perhaps redemption is on the way. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, they might not like that sort of language over at Disney, but we love to say welcome to one and all. Each and every one of you are welcome. Let's have fun and have a ball. Folks, it's time to get started. We're going to be discussing Star Wars today and whether or not it can be saved in the aftermath of the Acolyte. And it's so bad that Disney said, all right, we'll end the show. Skeleton Crew's still around, and, well, we're going to do Andor Season 2, but some are suggesting now that Star Wars and Lucasfilm may be clearing the deck for a post-Kathleen Kennedy era, and who knows, maybe a post-Success era, which we've been in for so long. Let's bring on a panel of experts to discuss the topic right now. Well, let's get to something that Disney can't understand, and that is, how did things go so poorly yet again? Folks, it's not just the Acolyte, by the way, that has been canceled. We're going to talk about that soon. Lauren, be ready to talk about this clearing of the deck. We'll get to it in a moment. But first, the original report. This by John F. Trent out of That Park Place. If you're not yet bookmarked to the website, well, you should be. Daily reading. It should be your start to every morn. Report, Leslie Headland's The Acolyte canceled after abysmal finale ratings. Here's what we've got. A new report details that Lucasfilm and the Walt Disney Company canceled Leslie Headland's The Acolyte series in the wake of Nielsen reporting the season finale had abysmal viewership numbers. Deadline's Nelly Andreeva reports the story of The Acolyte will not continue. You're welcome, Yoda. With Lucasfilm opting not to proceed with a second season of the Star Wars offshoot starring Amandla Stenberg, sources tell Deadline. Now, I'd like to remind everybody, too, that Jedi Master nepotism will not get to use that Force whip that we were all wishing we would get to see. Instead, it will remain forevermore simply a bug zapper. This report comes in the wake of Nielsen releasing its data for the week. What's that, John?
She just used it once as the bug zapper. That's like the only time she used it.
That's all you get. Yeah. You're not, Goodbye to the light whip. This report comes in the wake of Nielsen releasing its data for the week the Acolyte series finale aired. The show only managed to garner 335 million minutes watched. That was less than the 2-episode premiere, which brought in 488 million minutes watched. And this was also something like 60% or less of what we saw with the prior, with Ahsoka. And it was about half of Andor. Now, Andor, guys, was such a failure that they condensed Andor into just 2 seasons instead of the planned 5, to give you some idea of how bad of a failure Andor was in terms of viewership. Now, quality, a different story, but viewership, a terrible loss for Disney. This one came in at half of Andor. Yeah. So this came in at half. I mean, and this is where I think we should discuss for a moment, panel. If this continues, Skeleton Crew will not chart. That's where we are currently with Star Wars. It's so bad that the next shows will not chart if this trend continues. Do you think we will see Skeleton Crew even show up on Nielsen?
I'm going to say something that this panel might not like very much that I would say it, but the trailer for Skeleton Crew actually looks like a good trailer.
Here we go again.
Just not for a Star Wars product. I would
going to give it a 6 out of 10, everybody.
Children.
So we know
we're messing with you, Jonas. We're messing with you.
We know that Mark Hamill has the alter ego of Jake Skywalker. What, Jonas, is this L-Take Jonas talking, or is this regular Jonas talking?
I'm so happy that caught on.
I know what Jonas is saying. Jonas is saying that if Skeleton Crew was not Star Wars, that it would be more interesting than it is as a Star Wars.
It would not
property.
be as cringe-inducing or as eye-rolling or offensive, if you want to.
Right. We would say, what is this weird Captain EO callback?
Right. In fact, if they branded it as Captain EO, I think a lot more people would be interested in it. However, having worked with several channels that did videos specific to Skeleton Crew, I can tell you that the interest in Skeleton Crew is non-existent.
Oh yeah. I think a lot of people don't know it exists, but I think it could also benefit from, well, it can't be, no matter what it does, it's not going to be worse than the Acolyte. So I don't know. I think
that's a good point. That's a good point, because here's the thing. It looks family oriented. It looks like it might be fun. And we did not have fun in the last Star Wars series. No fun to be had whatsoever. Watching lesbian space witches and all of this crap. We didn't have any fun with the Acolyte. This looks like it actually could be a little fun, but it really is going to depend on the marketing in terms of how many people decide to show up and watch this. And, what more trailers we get out of this, if they can, kind of capture some of the magic that it looks like they're trying to capture, that Amblin Entertainment 80s magic. If they can figure out how to get that out of a couple of trailers before now in December, you could actually start to build some momentum. And if the series is legitimately just fun and good, and it doesn't have a lot of messaging in it, and it's just kids on an adventure, honestly, I would welcome that at this point. Based on where we've been with Star Wars, I would actually welcome a little bit of fun and some, entertainment and some, good old fashioned Amblin Entertainment magic. The trailer had this E.T. kind of feel to it. It had this kind of, Goonies, E.T., The Explorers. I love those movies, and I honestly don't hate the idea of the Skeleton Crew, but it really will depend on how well they market it and if the show is any good or not. Because just like Andor, it could actually build up and say, hey, actually, everybody, guess what? This show isn't bad. This show is pretty good. And if it can carry that momentum into Andor season 2, Star Wars could have possibly back-to-back hits on their hands, thinking. So I don't know. I'm not ready to write the Skeleton Crew 1,000% off, maybe about 50% based on how everybody is with the franchise right now.
I'm going to make a prediction about Skeleton Crew, which is that I don't think that it's going to be good Star Wars. You can see the vibe they're going for. It is the Amblin Goonies kind of thing. There may be one way that they can get it to take off, especially with kids, and that is they're using Goonies as the inspiration. We know that pirates are going to be in there from the Mandalorian season 3. If they have a pirate captain that is somebody that actually works, if they have like a Davy Jones character that catches on with what's that?
They do have a Davy Jones character, and it was awful.
They killed him. They killed him.
He looks like the Ebony Maw.
They left us with the lame, the whiny guy who runs off the curly bill of Mandalorian season 3.
Right. What I'm saying is that if they have a character in the background that they haven't shown yet, that they're keeping in the wings, another big master pirate character.
Somebody was saying Hondo. I've heard Hondo.
Nah.
You don't think so? He's popular, man. He's super popular with the Rebels in the Clone Wars crowd.
I agree.
Don Carnage.
But I think you need somebody that's actually got a great big hat.
All right, this is going to go into a tailspin if you keep this up, Marvin.
No, it's true. It's true. Hondo Ohnaka is voiced by Jim Cummings, who was the voice of Don Carnage. Hondo Ohnaka is Don Carnage in Star Wars, and with a little bit of Jack Sparrow thrown in there.
Hello, you space type people.
Do not fire at will. He is my second in command. Anyways. I love
not to derail it, but I do think that there is a glimmer of a hope if they can, if Skeleton Crew is any good. It's got some good directors in it. Obviously John Watts, his work on Spider-Man. I think they have something if they pulled it off, but we have to wait and see.
And they're not going to dare call you El Take DA right there.
Well, let's have a W take right now. And guys, I feel badly about reading this part. John, are you able to see that well enough to read so that I don't have to? Because this kind of takes a victory lap on what I have been reporting. Would you be able to read that?
Pro said this. Said source tells me that Leslie Headland does not, as of right now, have a contract for a season 2 of The Acolyte. Said source tells me that following the finale of season 1 and the results that may have been coming in weeks ahead, this decision may have been coming in weeks ahead of the finale. There are no current plans to develop a season 2. That could change. Kathleen Kennedy can always make that decision as long as she has a contract, which we believe she has a contract up until October of this year. And it may be continued past that, but that's when the current contract would end. I misspelled that. But Kathleen Kennedy could go ahead and approve that. But as of right now, we are told there are no plans, no movements. There is nothing in development for a season 2 of The Acolyte. My source tells me that everything in season 1 indicates that they did plan on doing a season 2, especially with the way the show ends. But as of right now, that continuation of the story seems to be on indefinite hold, indefinite pause.
And folks, the reason we do this is because when we make these sorts of predictions, when I do, when others do here on the channel, we do so with some trepidation and with some risk involved. So let's say that we put that out there and the very next day they say, oh yeah, we've been working on season 2 for the past 3 weeks and it's coming out and blah, 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 right? We look like idiots. So we have to really vet these sources and really, we have to have a degree of confidence before we go out there with these kinds of things. Now, as we can see, Mac is here, and we just saw from Mac earlier, but these numbers are tremendous in terms of showing us exactly what's going on. You can see Book of Boba Fett, the finale ended with 885 million minutes watched. Obi-Wan ended with 860 million minutes watched. Andor at 674. Ahsoka with 575. And of course, the Acolyte finale, we now know, ended in the 300s. If that trend were to continue, Skeleton Crew would be down in the 200s, perhaps, maybe even lower. Quite the problem for everybody involved in this. And folks, we have come to the end yet again. Another video of excellence in the can. What a joy it has been, though, and we hope you had a good time as well. If you thought this was swell, consider becoming a member of the channel. You can click the join button, or at the very least, become a subscriber. Click that subscribe button. You can also like this video and comment down below, which we would greatly appreciate, because we know you have great ideas, thoughts, comments, and a wonderful mind that needs to be shared with the world. Folks, it's time for us to say sayonara, but we will be back very soon, do not worry, and we will see you when we do, we hope. Folks, until the next time we cross paths, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.